10 simple rules to be great in hockey. The next simple rule to be great in hockey: focus. What do I mean by focus? Let me tell you a story about former William Jennings Trophy winner in the National Hockey League and NHL goaltender Darren Jensen. Darren tells a story about a tragic event that happened in hockey. It was in the 1980s, and Darren was playing in the minors in Hershey. The main goalie in Philadelphia, who was the best goalie in the National Hockey League at the time, was Pelle Lindbergh. Now, Pelle Lindbergh unfortunately got into a driving accident and passed away. It was terrible news throughout the whole National Hockey League, throughout the whole hockey world. You can Google it. If you put in Pelle Lindbergh, you can read up on it. It was very, very sad. Anyways, so Darren gets a call from John Paddock, the coach of his team in Hershey, and says, "Hey, you're getting brought up to Philadelphia." And Darren's thinking. He tells me, he says that he's thinking on the other end of the line there. Wow, I've waited for this all my life, right, to be brought. He says, "You're being brought up to Philadelphia." Then John Paddock says, "And you're playing." So Darren thinks, "What? I'm getting called up and I'm playing?" And so Darren says, "Well, what happened to Bob Froese, which was their number 2 goalie?" John Paddock says, "Well, he pulled a hamstring." So Darren's thinking, "What? He pulled a hamstring?" So Darren's a little scared. He gets called up. And so what John Paddock says is that we're arranging for a private jet to come pick you up and take you to Philadelphia. So the private jet picks Darren up, and he gets on the private jet and he sits down. There's a newspaper there. He opens the newspaper, and in headlines it says, "Jensen to start tonight." He said his heart dropped. Then the flight attendant asks him if he wants something to eat, and he's like, "No, I have no appetite whatsoever." So the plane lands in Philadelphia. Bobby Clark, Mike Keenan pick Darren up at the airport, and Darren says, "Are we going to the rink to practice, so I can get a little practice with the guys, get used to this level of play?" And Bobby Clark says, "No, we're going right to the hotel. There's too much press at the rink." Project a few more hours into before the game starts. Darren skates on the ice with the rest of the Flyers. They go to the blue lines. They have a 15-minute eulogy for Pelle. Darren looks down the blue line of his players on his team. They're all crying. It's a pretty tragic event, pretty sad event. All of his players are crying. Then he looks across the ice to the other blue line, to the opposing team they're playing. Well, this is in the mid-'80s, when the best team in the National Hockey League is the Edmonton Oilers, with Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Glenn Anderson, Yari Curry, Grant Fuhrer, Andy Moog. You can go on and on and on and on and on. And he looks at that team. He looks at his players, and he even says, he thought for a second, I would like to grab the microphone in this building and say, "Hey, if there's anyone in the audience that has goaltending experience, come down to ice level." That's how he was a little bit nervous. Then he thought, "You know what? I need to focus. I really need to focus on what I want to accomplish." So with all that stuff that happened, all those distractions, Darren played the game of his life. The Philadelphia Flyers beat the best team in hockey, the Edmonton Oilers, 3-2, and Darren received first star for the game. That is the power of focus. You want to focus on what you want. Focus on what you want to accomplish. In Puckmasters' new audiobook, 90% Mental, which is coming out shortly, you will hear Darren Jensen tell this story personally. Make it a great day. Until next time, stay great.